What's up everyone, it's Paul and LaFon bringing you another Overwatch League recap video. It's been a long time coming, but the Shanghai Dragons fans can finally raise their head high, as off the play of Lip, Fleta, and Lee Jae-gong, the Dragons are finally on top.
This should be one of the very best games this week, as NYXL try to bring the high-flying Dragons down to earth. Both teams are coming off of dominant performances last week. The only difference is the Dragons crushed a team many thought would be the top of the rankings. Will the Dragons lock out Asia, or can New York vault themselves to #1 in this region?
But it doesn't feel like it, with New York going in and out repeatedly, just delaying time and time again. 50 seconds left, Mono gets back to the fight, gets taken down, but Sableby takes down Lee Jae-gong. They're just continually gumming up Shanghai.
Yeah, they just really want to push this to overtime. They might get more than that if Sableby can get another pick here. Void's got self-destruct, so on the point they can actually stay long here, but they need to get picks. Trading like this isn't good enough for Shanghai. They're losing time.
Yeah, and New York, again, they're not necessarily winning this fight, but they're stalling out repeatedly. It's been one long
This
fight.
actually is holdable now, too. The trance actually gives them a re-engage. They have that armor. Lips EMP, not too effective.
Well, Dragons are getting a critical mass of pickoffs here at the choke point, but look at the time. It's brought down into overtime. New York has a clear win condition now for their attack. So even though the Dragons, you look at the kill feed and you go, wow, they've been dominating. But New York just drains the time down. It's a very interesting way to play Overwatch.
It certainly is. Unfortunate timing.
Appa finds Lip early, and this puts New York in a really good advantage. And if there's going to be a difference between the two teams, how do they play a man up? Where New York, they simply don't fall, but New York, when they're a man up, they just roll over the Dragons. This is so decisive, Wolf, and it's a big difference from the defense we saw a round ago.
Well, it's all, a lot of this...
Danger, here comes a Primal. She's going to be knocked away. Hoppa, though, out of the fight on the other side. The Dragons striking back. They drop the EMP mid-fight, but the Dragons are so disrupted, they can't take advantage of it. New York now far tankier on the point. Dang gonna drop the supercharger, try and run this back with the D.Va, with the Brigitte, and they do just that. Animo taken down, and the supercharger helps to turn the fight.
Yeah, it's not over yet. Who are you? Trying to find a pick here. Sableby gets one. Yeah, Who are you's losing this duel, but Shanghai has spawn advantage. Eventually, this is going to get turned around. Hoppa is soon to approach. Not if Ana dies.
Who are you goes in, gets the Primal, does not get burst down immediately, but with Hoppa down again early, it's going to be tough. Fearless, though, off on the other side, 5-on-5. Sabi will be making room on the other edge of battle. But is that enough? Lip is still in there, able to drop the EMP. The Dragons really taking a page out of New York's book here, where they lose a little bit in the early fight, they come back in, they delay, but Sabi will be still making it interesting.
It's going to be great if you're the attacking team because you can keep touching the point, but as a defender, you don't get a whole lot of value out of that one usually. Shanghai should probably just simply give this up at this point because they're speeding over ult charge. Lip's trying to get a little bit more EMP, but yeah, I mean, you don't see pulse bombs connect in pro Overwatch very often because it's just so difficult to do, especially in a world where we have Brigitte in the hero pool, so that might have been an accident. You build pulse bomb really fast, but you're not going to be able to use it. You don't have a large health pool. Your recall isn't going to.
They need to delay this to under a minute.
Yeah, they do, and that's actually huge. Meanwhile, EMP
Falls immediately. This is so big for Shanghai.
Yeah, so this is where you start to get really worried as New York, though. You broke through B. Sure, they used their EMP.
EMP is big. Hits 5, but Jonak, this Transcendence right there, so as good as EMP was, the Transcendence from Jonak, better. New York still with options here in the fight. Lee Jae-gong is down. Sabi will be on the prowl in the back with the pulse bomb. Jonak's out of the fight, but still winnable for New York, but they just lose on the front line. Void and Fearless turn it, and now New York, they are in trouble. They have to hope for Sabi will be. New York taking the advantage here. Who are you? Uses duplicate on the Winston, building up a Primal. Lee Jae-gong out of the fight. Primal Rage in from Who Are You? The disruption is big. The Dragons on the back foot as New York is being decisive. Overtime ticking down, but this is looking like extra rounds here, Wolf, and it is.
It is going to be extra rounds. A close call there for NYXL, but Sableby does it again. It feels like, you know, we're so focused.
5, Wolf, they cannot wait for Fearless in full.
Yeah, they can't. They have to go in. Void touches. He's stunned, though, and going to get DMAC, looks like.
Were you in the back looking for the pickoff? Finds Ding! Ding had nowhere to go, got hunted. And now New York looking for the first point hold. Not a perfect first point hold. They give up 39.4. So still winnable. for the Dragons, but their progress is halted here. And New York has put themselves in a very good position.
They really have.
2-0 in the series.
I really like what you point out about the trade-off between a Tracer.
Forces it back a little bit, but Void got super low, ends up getting demeched. There's the hook on the Fearless, and the front line for the Dragons does not exist.
New York too.
Oh, New York immediately there in the cleanup, and that is it. New York 2-0 at the half.
Road.
Takes down Sabiel B. It was close, but that return fire puts Dragons in a great spot for point A.
Yeah, this is definitely stallable on the side of New York, especially with this pick onto Lip.
Well, Lip's out of it, so now we go into New York where even if they lose, do they lose well? And okay, they're going to lose. They just lost Animo and Hoppa. This is not going to be a long delay. And in fact, the Dragons pretty decisive on the cleanup this time around.
Yeah, Sabielby's
not going to have it for a while, and Shanghai, they're almost here, and they haven't even used Transcendence. New York on the verge of losing point B, and can only be described as a speed run.
I cannot believe Who Are You duplicated. I cannot believe he duplicated Sombra instead of Winston there. Absolutely the wrong choice. Winston can give you so much more stalling power.
The Dragons do here, they have the EMP, they're going to have to drop it, and not even number situation, but they're pushed back. Not quite poked down. Now they drop the EMP, hits 5, and Jonak is just erased from existence. Void right there on the follow-through. And the Dragons, really good patience and even better EMP.
Yeah, I think New York really jumped the gun on taking a hard engage there after the pick. I mean, obviously...
Flip is not going to have EMP up this time, so New York should be able to just go in. Dang. There's the Echo. Uses the Brigida. Mono out of the fight. Sableby, though, got to the back. Takes down Fearless. Not going to be available to clone for Echo here, though.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Sableby is just rolling around. So good cleanup from New York. They get to save the Echo ult for point B. And I wonder here, if you're Fearless, do you stay on the Rhine and give that dupe? Now, where are you? Back in the Echo. New York taking a long time in this fight for not much result as Mono falls.
Yeah, Rally doesn't work like that the way I think he wants it to get that armor there.
They're Wolf, but they were able to disengage just in time. But still forces a duplicate out here from Ding, but Sableby trying to make something happen, but New York just pushed back a bit as we move in, and New York just about there. Dragons are still 5 up. They can delay for a while here, but the EMP coming on out here from Who Are You off the duplicate, but there's a real EMP out from Lip. Off on the other end, hits 3, and Sabielby, the one person that's getting things done.
I'm not a believer in this Who Are You EMP, but Shanghai is still surviving, still buying time. You're already 4 minutes behind. You might be worse than that.
Yeah, this is, I mean, New York, they're slowly grinding this out. The Dragons are in retreat, and that should be it. They finally clear enough off the point.
You
No
take
small
on
part through the Sabielby. That
Yeah,
was
Lee buys a little bit more time, but I mean, you got to be real.
about to be potentially the fight decider here. But you have Sabielby, the other X Factor on the other side. 99% pulse bomb built up, diving on in. Lee Jae-gon already out of the fight. New York charging on over with the Transcendence. EMP though, out from Lip to the heart of NYX on the other end, and Void and Lip do more to turn the fight. The Dragons flip it all around. And just when you think New York is going to have a last-minute charge, it stopped.
Yeah, they had to trance to take that fight. You know, they had to use that extra healing to be able to have that point presence, but that means that
Dragons get to recklessly move on over, and bear in mind, New York can't even give up a tick, so they must fight this
They have
on
to stay
the
on
point.
it.
Yeah, Hoppa, the early martyr on the point, and now they're just about there. Jonak out of the fight, and the Dragons just get to casually roll forward. Yeah, I tend to agree, though. If anyone could pull it off, it would be Sabielby. But now I do wonder how much of this is the best pick versus how much is the comfortable pick. But Fearless, not looking comfortable at all. Picked off very early, and this is going to concede a lot of room to New York as they move into point A.
I mean, like, every time we see this Roadhog with the Echo, I love it.
It works out well. It gets someone low, it sets up the Echo right after. And even if the Dragons trading out a little bit here, the respawn advantage is going to be so big for New York that the next fight likely takes place in Courtyard. But if they're lucky, Sabielby takes down Izuyaki, and again, it just staggers the Dragons back more.
Q came out that gave the extra delay, but it does make it a lot harder to be a Sombra main in this meta. And that was a hook that actually pulled him out of it.
Yeah, and now the Dragons, okay, you're down your Winston. Your ability to delay meaty on the point is tough, but okay, your self-destruct hit Sanamo. I don't think it's enough. Sabielby still just doing whatever he wants in the back, but it Transcendence. So not a total loss here for the Dragons as they go for last bit of delay.
Interesting choice again for Who Are You, just for, as they do get the point here. Can't criticize him for that, but interesting.
Yeah,
We're looking into a mind of, you know, a DPS player who's got a lot of comfort picks.
Oh, well, not comfortable there. New York, Ding, takes down 2 with ease. And that's going to lead to a full reset from New York a little bit too
Mono
decisive.
actually stealing some distance here, though.
Not for long. Into the river he goes. Void even eating. Dragons are still delaying as this goes on.
Yeah, New York is still getting a little bit of distance, but it's just not as quickly as I think they would have liked. And that's a really nice hack to get away with.
Yeah, I mean, New York, they are getting the better of this to a degree. It's kind of them getting a taste of their own medicine, though, where they're winning, but they're not winning quick. The Dragons doing a masterful job right now of delaying. I don't think they're going to throw a Transcendence into this. I think this is where they let it go, but I don't know if they get back in time for point B. This is going to be very close.
Yeah, it is.
To keep this going. They touch a payload. It is in overtime. New York gets the opportunity to dive on over, but they're down on him. Oh, they're down. Who are you? The Dragons with the counter engage. That should be it. The Dragons hold off here on Rialto, and suddenly, Wolf, a map 5 is not looking too crazy.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, you said it, it's zoning from the Dragons.
It's good zoning, but this still shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen.
New York is stuck in their own head right now. They're going to stagger. They're going to give up even more room to the Dragons. And the Dragons, they're playing really well. But on the same note, New York is collapsing before our very eyes.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, Who Are You? He gets ult charge here and he gets away. You know,
New York would fight, but Sable be down so early, it's not easily turnable at all. Ding still holding on to the Echo ult. Who are you? Clones of Brigida. Dragons are still very much in the fight. And okay, Ding goes for Brigida clone on the other end. The Dragons getting way more courtesy of Void.
yeah, Rally doesn't persist actually after that when you end up losing your Brig. So I think he's thinking he's going to get a double rally, but both times he's tried this, it just hasn't worked out. I mean, this might just be the end of the map. They're staggered. He lost his duplicate. He's not going
to catch their breath, and they don't have any more opportunities to do so here. Down 1, Lip drops EMP. Goodbye, good night. The Dragons force their way right to a map 5. And New York, even though it didn't pan out on the ultimate side of the fight, Sabiel B working with a much harder job here, trying to finish off perhaps Dynamite finish-offs, but Mono taken down early. The Dragons, a much better poke advantage, and even with Ding falling, the Dragons should have done enough to push New York out in full.
Yeah,
Swept. This is what I just saw there. The Dragons in control of the point. Hoppa moves in the stall, loses his mech. The New York Excelsior looking for anything. It's not coming from Jonak. Fearless just stomps him into the ground. And the Dragons making a statement here, about to get the round. And New York on the verge of what is going to be a very, very painful loss.
We saw on Lijiang because of the map.
Well, I do think that this is much better for New York here. They get to run a mirror, but they're way more accomplished yet. But Libero gets caught. New York might not be able to put themselves together in time. The Dragons looking stronger and stronger. They get the early opening pick. Should give them opening control. And you know, if New York thought that this was going to get better, it might not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it for now. And actually, you know, in this mirror composition, New York, they do escape here.
They need
See
a
how
hero
they take
play.
this ultless fight.
They need someone on the Dragons to mess up. And guess what? The Dragons are flawless. The Coalescence comes out. New York Excelsior falling one by one.
And if we, I mean, ZP, if we rewind back to
Mono, now with an opportunity. Getting healed by the Cole, drops a shatter, also gets nothing. And now the Dragons, they drop the beat. They bring it right back over into New York. And it's a 6-on-5, 6-on-4. This fight about to slip away once more. And Wolf, this is unbelievable. New York, who was once so far ahead in the series, potentially about to be down to their final fight.
It's all about, right now for Hoppa, he needs to eat this Blizzard. I think that's their only
Here,
hope.
Hoppa opens up with the bomb, does not get anything. New York rushing into the point. Down goes Sabiel B. Shanghai, the better engaged Blizzard from New York, rotated around. And the Dragons, 96% full control. New York goes down in flames after what was a great start.
In that last fight, too, they had to sound very early because they got cut in half, which meant they didn't have that. Blizzard came down. A lot of problems for New York in that last map overall.
I just think they hit a point where even swapping back to Libero, I just think the morale for New York was just decimated after falling down in the series where it was looking so good for New York. They were so far ahead. You called it best when you said, we saw some of the most intelligent play you can imagine from New York in the first 2 maps. And the IQ just was sliding down, and it wasn't a small...
To stay up to date with all things Overwatch League, make sure to check out one of our other recap videos.